we're getting to a point where we really need to talk about solutions to this problem. We don't want a civil war. That's the last thing we want in our country. As a matter of fact, we want to be able to respect each other and get along, but we also need to do, to really look at major changes to fix our problems.
What does a national divorce look like in your estimation?
Well, a national divorce is not a civil war. It's actually separating by red states and blue states, and making state rights and state power a lot stronger than it is right now. It would be shrinking the federal government. For example, we can take education. Well, if we have a national divorce, there's no need for the Department of Education. Red states and blue states would be in control of the education in each state. Red states would very likely have traditional education, homeschooling, charter schools, private schools, technical schools. They would not allow any type of gender lies being taught in their schools. LGBTQ woke teachers would be fired and not allowed to teach there. They would allow parents to be able to choose the curriculum instead of school boards that don't respect parents' beliefs and traditional family values. And it maybe in blue states, they would have full gender transition schools for their students. I don't know what they would do, but I'm sure their education would look different than ours.
No, just to make sure I understand, are you arguing for separate nations?
No, not separate nations, not at all, because I believe in the United States of America and don't want to see that go away. I believe that we still need a strong United States military, but the Department of Defense should return to its original charter and intent. And its mission is to defend our borders and our national security. And, under what I'm talking about, that's what our Department of Defense would do. It wouldn't be more interested in fighting foreign wars and defending foreign countries' borders.
Yes.
It would defend the United States borders so that each state could exist how it chooses to exist.
And I disagree with what you're saying, but I don't think the left would ever stop. I don't think they'll ever stop trying to invade our states or our counties. So how do we stop them?
Well, I think that, red states could choose in how they allow people to vote in their states. For example, over the past couple of years, we've seen a mass exodus from California and New York, where we've seen people fleeing those leftist policies and moving to states like Florida, Georgia, Texas, states where they like the tax policies, they like the schools, they like the consequences of Republican and red policies. What I think would be something that some red states could propose is, well, okay, if Democrat voters choose to flee these blue states where they cannot tolerate the living conditions, they don't want their children taught these horrible things, and they really change their mind on the types of policies that they support, well, once they move to a red state, guess what? Maybe you don't get to vote for 5 years. You can live there, you can work there, but you don't get to bring your values that you basically created in the blue states you came from by voting for Democrat leaders and Democrat policies. But this would be up to red states to be able to choose to do something like that so that their red states don't get changed, which is what's happening, unfortunately, when Democrat voters leave their Democrat states and they take their Democrat votes with them. That would be something that these red states would have to really consider and choose to do. But I'm a big believer in freedom, Charlie, but I'm also a big believer in defending our ability to pursue life and liberty and happiness. And the left is completely destroying that for those of us on the right.
One of the things